Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to some more Fan Fridays, and this one actually looks pretty crazy because we have a championship battle, so that means VGC 2017 on Fan Fridays right now. It seems like a pretty standardish team, but a lot of the Pokemon have kind of condensed into just use these, such as the Porygon 2 and the Tapu Fini. But let's see if we have any extra fun that is brought to the table. Actually, I think I can already see where this is going, because the submission, the title of that was Swagger for Frustration, and we got Tapu Fini. It's going to get that underspeed, it's going to set up its terrain, which means that Swagger into the Metagross is going to be free and filthy. So let's watch how this one plays out. Tapu Koko going to go for that Protect right there, just not getting blown up by the Metagross instantly, and then that's going to be the Swagger onto the Metagross. So it gains the attack, but because of Misty Terrain, does not get confused, and then actually predicts that, and Zen headbutts the Trevenant at +2. And this might be a quick Fan Fridays showcase if it keeps up like this. So now Garchomp comes in. Tapu Fini into the Garchomp is actually pretty solid. So we're going to see how that plays out. Garchomp unaffected by the discharge. Tapu Fini, though, it's going to be just fine. Like, Tapu Koko is not that strong of a Pokemon without the terrain. Tapu Fini also will survive the Poison Jab. And we can see which berry it is. Oh, and it's a Wiki, or not, you know, whatever Confusion Berry it is. So that's pretty nuts right there. Tapu Fini, that tanky of a Pokemon, and as we can see from the not KO onto the Garchomp. Ooh, into the Earthquake, though. That's some madness. That's also a very tanky Tapu Fini to survive the +2 Earthquake from its own Metagross. This is actually one of, like, the most clean, filthy breakdowns of anything I've ever seen. That's going to be Gastrodon, and then Metagross can just Zen headbutt that for the Freelo, or the opponent will forfeit before there's even a chance. Man, I didn't even get any time to break down that battle. Also, I didn't know the Machamp on Nick's team. Never mind. Like, that adds a little bit of that variety that we're looking for in VGC these days. Okay. I'm actually interested in seeing how you can get out of that gimmick. That's going to be a pretty fun one right there. But I wanted to say a couple things about that last battle, because yeah, that Tapu Fini just so tanky. The lack of damage just shows that's like max hit points, high amounts of defensive investment to also survive that Poison Jab. That's just what Tapu Fini is capable of. And then just Tapu Koko, it lives and dies by that terrain, which is why Tapu Fini is such a strong Pokemon, that by removing that, you can still eat a super effective hit, and Tapu Fini is going to be just fine. But now we're in a new level of shenanigans. Smeargle comes in with the Fake Out, decides to target the Metagross, because that honestly has like one of the highest chances of just ruining everything. That Metagross gets a hit in or just follows up the Bullet Punch, and then that's going to make it really hard for the Smeargle or the Eevee. And now we can see, like, the proper, like, how do you play around that Smeargle Eevee lead? Like, any follow me into Extreme Evo Boost is going to be pretty nasty. Having Smeargle with that backup is going to be pretty good. Interestingly enough, with the, like, rise of Tapu Fini and just its existence in 7th generation, that Dark Void nerf, not being able to be put on Smeargle anymore, just seems even more unnecessary. And I'm actually pretty happy about the banter I had, that normally whenever there's like the Extreme Evo Boost, it's story time. I think I was able to pad that one out pretty well, and now we are on to the rest of the battle, as we see Eevee gain +2 in everything. It's a monster, and then we're getting ready for like the Baton Pass and stuff. So the Swagger still going to target the Metagross. Now we're balancing out the stats right here. Alright, so the +2 on the attack versus the +2 on defense could get fancy, and then Smeargle's Moody is going to come in. That's going to be attack on the Smeargle and special attack drops, so nothing really affected for the Smeargle. And Eevee gets Baton Pass. Ooh. Looks like Metagross is going for the big play. Just canceling out that +2 onto the Espeon. Is this just going to be a massive Meteor Mash for the KO? Smeargle, though, yo, I'm liking the opponent. The opponent knows what's up right now. Has that transform for the switch in turn. Oh, the double Swagger onto the Metagross, though. Looking to change it up. And then that's going to be Metagross with the Earthquake. So +4 Earthquake onto the Espeon. Not going to be enough to KO, but Tapu Fini is... That has to be like max defense Tapu Fini then, or some special defense nature max defense EVs. I really want to know, because how does it survive the +4 Earthquake onto the Metagross? And then Metagross gets the Bullet Punch, something. I like that. I like that Smeargle though. Like when you Extreme Evo Boost, and then you also got that Smeargle next to it, you can get some crazy transform stuff. Stored power for the shenanigans, unfortunately, will be heavily resisted. Opponent thought the double stored power was going to make it work. Metagross says no to that. And Tapu Fini gets the Heal Pulse, effectively just canceling out the turn and then giving Metagross free damage on the Bullet Punch. Pokemon is a very interesting game where a lot of things will just kind of happen. So going for that single target Bullet Punch, you know, Tapu Fini can't take another hit, so you don't want to kind of risk it on that one. And then now we have Smeargle with the stored power again. But we know that stored power is pretty safe until it targets Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini goes down, but that's kind of expected, and now you've just effectively given Metagross the free reign. Clefairy comes in, and looks like the opponent is just built around protecting this chain, because that's going to be Follow Me on Clefairy, but +4 on the Metagross says otherwise. So just outpacing that setup, just saying, you know what, the opponent's going to go for something crazy, but maybe I can be just a little more crazy, and it kind of paid off in its own way. Let's see what Porygon 2 can bring to this. So Smeargle comes in, stored power onto the Metagross, and Metagross is going to go for the Meteor Mash, but that gets protected from the Clefairy. I would have just gone for that Bullet Punch, but I guess it doesn't have it. Wait, no, we already saw Bullet Punch. So yeah, you can kind of get away with that, but Porygon 2 going to twist the Dimensions, which puts Espeon at a severe disadvantage. Smeargle's Espeon, you know, something like that. Porygon comes in with that Ice Beam, so Ice Beam getting a little bit of damage onto Clefairy, kind of just checking the tankiness right there. Then Metagross with the Earthquake. So looking to just kind of close this one out right now. Smeargle will survive it, Clefairy goes down, Porygon 2, just a ridiculously tanky Pokemon as well. And Smeargle comes in with that stored power, so stored power going for that target onto the Metagross, and not going to be enough, but we still have Trick Room up, and then the Eevee comes in. Eevee without the Extreme Evo Boost doesn't have much that it can do. So we're going to see what Eevee is sitting on. Smeargle has a Detect. I guess Espeon has a Detect, quote unquote. And Porygon 2 with the Ice Beam, that will be protected right there. So Metagross was in Headbutt. Ooh. Actually getting the target down onto Eevee, just kind of removing it before it gets to do anything. Has that Last Resort for the Extreme Evo Boost, so has damage. Like, Last Resort hurts. Max hit points, max attack Eevee, you know? If it survives, it could happen. It could happen. Also, sorry for that hiccup right there. Yeah, that happens too. And Smeargle goes down. Yeah, that was an interesting battle. Like I said during that, the breakdown was just, this is happening. Welcome to Pokemon where this can happen. Is it a bad thing that as I was typing in the code, I wanted to see a battle submission where Swagger misses the ally? So it's like, way to go, Game Freak. You nerfed the creativity of the game. That, like, I think I even brought that up when I said the Swagger nerf has these, like, micro implications that just happen, you know? We have Meowstic with the Safe Swag. Well, Safe Swag is like 5% less effective now because it could just miss the opponent, like, or miss your ally. That's neat. That'd be cool if you're trying to buff yourself and not play the RNG and then you get punished for it. So Metagross is a clear body. That's actually very effective in this metagame. Alright, good for you. And then Tapu Fini does have a little bit of support. We're going to see where this goes. We're going to see how you play around this one. Arcanine showing its supportive capabilities, though, with the Snarl. No, like, Flare Blitz or even Burn Up or anything in this situation. Tapu Fini's going to do a special attack, but it's more of a supportive Pokemon, so that's going to be the Swagger onto the Metagross, and we're going to see what the opposing Tapu Fini wants to bring in this situation. Moonblast, alright. So using Moonblast to try to get as much damage onto the opposing Tapu Fini. Whoa! Okay, has to be defensive Tapu Fini then, because that hit. Unless the opponent's also going for a high amount of special as well. Tapu Fini can do a lot of weird things. But that's going to be a big Earthquake. That +2 going to rip through the Arcanine. Really put the hurt onto the opponent's Tapu Fini as well. And it seems like that's more a special attacking oriented Tapu Fini. And then going into the Trevenant. So the opponent bringing that Trevenant. And now things are kind of equaled out. But we have Machamp coming in. So Machamp, not the best matchup for Tapu Fini. But that makes me feel like something's coming in. Like, you just protect, you eat that Moonblast, and then Metagross gets the freebie. So that's an Earthquake right there. And even though it's not going to do a lot of damage, I would have gone for the Earthquake. Because my thought here is even though Earthquake isn't going to do a lot to the Trevenant, you're still getting that chip damage on Trevenant, and then you're taking down the Tapu Fini with that Earthquake, which means you have a Bullet Punch follow-up, and then Trevenant also goes for that Trick Room. Okay, that's like an interesting reset from the opponent because pretty sure Machamp kind of gets that speed, and then Metagross still has that Bullet Punch. So Machamp doesn't have like a super effective hit that I can think of right now, just onto that Tapu Fini to get it out of the game. That's gonna be switch out into the Muck though. I don't know what the opponent's trying to play for this one. Machamp has a Stone Edge, so just taking the damage as it can onto the Muck. That's gonna be alright, and Metagross comes in with that Meteor Mash. So Metagross still getting the underspeed onto the Tapu Fini, and then getting enough damage to take it down like that. And then Trevenant comes in. So I feel like, yeah, just run that Earthquake. Trevenant's going to take some damage. Mug's going to die. Tapu Fini could have died. It just kind of hurts like that. And then Metagross comes in with that Bullet Punch. So Bullet Punch onto the Trevenant. At that +2, Trevenant still finds a way to survive, but it's going to use Curse, and it will cost itself its life to try to put a Curse onto that Machamp. It's not like Belly Drum. You don't need the health prerequisite. You know, the other world doesn't care about your sacrifice. If you're going down, you're going down. It'll take whatever it can off you. It's not going to say, you know what? He's not healthy enough to claim off of that. We can't put a Curse because he doesn't have enough health. No, they'll gladly take your life. That's some word of advice about the occult for anyone watching this video. As we see that it is the Confusion Berry on Muk. Machamp goes and takes a quarter of its health. And then it's still pretty bad for the opponent right now. There's really nothing that can be done. And that will be the forfeit. A little bit of delay from the turns, and that's going to be the GG right there. So, interesting little setup. Like I said, I like seeing the, just the swag. Safe swag or any kind of setup like that into the Metagross. Seems pretty reliable. Works against some pretty solid VGC teams, and that's going to be it. So, guys, enjoy this battle. I'll see you in the next Fan Fridays.